Okay, welcome back to part 3 of our simple PHP login script. To carry on where we left off, we got to here. So after this, we need to in this part we need to create another if statement to say if the username the user has entered is the same as, so it is equal to database username, and if the password the user has entered is equal to the database password, then we want to run another script. So we need to open up another set of curly brackets. So if it is, we need to echo out. So if the username is, if the username and password is the same as username and password from the database, we're going to echo out here just to tell the user login successful, and we're just going to create a link here. In here we're going to say then click here to enter the members area, and in the link we're going to create a page called members area.php. Okay, and now the user has successfully logged in, we're going to create the session now. So $_session, and we're going to create a session on the username, and that's got to be equal to the database username, DB username, sorry. So we created the session. After this we're going to create an else. So if the username and password doesn't match, we're going to say else echo incorrect password. Okay, and if all this script here just doesn't just nothing works right, so if the username doesn't exist, it's not in the database, we're going to basically say here else echo that username doesn't exist, and then after this final one, another else, we're going to actually, instead of this being echo, we're going to kill the script because we don't want it to run anything else if it doesn't exist. So kill the script, and then on this one we're going to select die as well to kill the script, because in this one we're going to enter please enter a username and password, because if you follow this right up to here, if one of these values is not true, So if the user has not entered a username or password, none of this script will run, and it'll kill the script and say please enter a username and password. So if the username and password does exist, you've entered both in, we're going to connect to the database and see how many rows it's got. We're going to see how many rows the table has, and if the number of rows doesn't equal 0, so if it does equal 0, which means they've not entered anything, the username's not there basically, we're going to come down here and say else kill the script, that username doesn't exist. If the username does exist, we're going to create a while loop, and we're going to then basically say the database username must be equal to the username the user has entered, and the same with the password. So if that's true, the username exists, so we're going to create them. So then if the username and password the user has entered is the same as the database username and password, we're going to say you've logged in successful, click here to access the members area, and we're then going to start the session. Else, if the username and password don't match the username and password from the database, we're going to say else, and we're going to send them a message saying incorrect password. So that's basically your login script. If I just try this out real quick, I'm going to put in, if I just leave them blank, login, please enter a username and password. If I enter a wrong username and a wrong password, that username doesn't exist. If I enter my username but enter a wrong password, we've got incorrect password there. I'll have a look at this in a minute. And if I enter the right username and right password, right, we've got incorrect password again. Line 25 and 26. So it's these here. Right, so what have we got here? Right, I'll end this part here. I'll have a look at that little code and join me back in part 4 for how to create the members area and the logout page if we get that far. So see you in part 4.